Well, we love when Dr. Martha Durham comes on the show because we can always talk about things that our kids have done or that are doing because she knows what she's talking about. She's with Durham Psychology,
Yes.
and if you ever need someone to go talk to, this is who you need to do. Because Martha, I like you because you keep it real.
I try to keep it real.
You know, I'll tell
a
you.
real mommy.
You are real.
I'll
real
tell
mommy.
you some stuff, waiting for the judgment. You're like, oh no, let me tell you what I've done. So it's,
Right.
I love talking to you. You're so fun.
You
That's
come
just
on
the
once a month,
truth.
don't you?
Yes, I do. I'm
Okay.
very grateful for that. Thank
Well,
you.
the bill's in the mail.
Yes, we'll do. How about you can pay by telling us how sometimes the way we handle our kids and
Right.
their behavior could actually be making it worse.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. I teach something called the Kasdan Method. It's out of the Yale Parenting Center. A guy named Alan Kasdan created it, wonderful psychologist. And the keys to it, I'm going to put some on my website and I'll give some for you guys. Quick keys are to praise, prompt, and practice.
Praise, prompt, practice, the
Right.
3 Ps, okay?
Right. So it's very important to praise your children. It's really negative to spend a lot of time noticing what they do wrong.
But that's what stands out sometimes.
It is what stands out. It's a perfect point. And so you know what we don't do? We don't notice what they do right. So it's the easiest thing
Well,
you
it's
can
kind of
do.
like having a boss, isn't it? I mean,
You
Oh, yeah,
catch-
you never hear the good
catch
stuff.
what they're doing well. And now think about it.
so
If
you look for things they're
you
doing
look
well.
for, and we see we never notice that. And so kids are just thinking everything they do is wrong. So when my children are doing something I like, I say, I love how you're playing cooperatively. Man, that's so great. And I'll give them points for that.
And you know, that's an old management style because I was told years ago by a Millikan executive,
Yep.
anything negative you have to tell somebody about,
Yep.
you come back with 2 positive.
Absolutely. And see, what we do as parents, you're right, it stands out when they're in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And here's another thing we do. We don't tell them what to do, we tell them what not to do. And that doesn't make any sense.
Oh, that's good.
If I'm saying to my son, stop talking, I'm not telling him something that he can do. So what he can do is sit quietly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's called the positive opposite. You look at a negative behavior and you give a positive opposite.
I guess we just thought, well, duh, stop talking. You would sit quiet. You just assume
But
that
little
they
minds
know.
aren't ready
Yeah.
for all that, and they're not critical thinkers. So you tell them what they can do, and you do a lot of praising. Yes, Jack.
But you know, some kids,
I
and
love the way you waited your turn, by the way.
I tried. Thank you very much.
Good job,
I like that a
Jack.
lot.
Thank you, Mommy.
Good job.
Thank you,
Nice
Mommy.
work.
But some kids, I'm not going to bring it
Some kids,
home.
go ahead.
Some kids will agree that negative attention,
Yes.
attention keyword,
Yes.
is better than no attention.
So here's the trick with that. Kids work for what you give them. Don't give them negative. Okay, give them positive. If you're being negative, if you're always being aggressive or negative, your kids are going to give that back.
Yeah.
And let me tell you something else. Harsh, physical, and prolonged punishment, what it does long term is it makes kids want to avoid their parents. And see, we don't realize that. And then as adults, they'll avoid you, and that's not what you want.
Well, they'll avoid you till they want money.
Well, maybe,
Then they warm
maybe.
up.
But see, they're working for something, so that's another wonderful
Yeah.
thing. You want them to work for praise. You want to give them rewards for their good behavior. So let me teach you a little trick.
Okay.
All right.
So you two are my children.
Okay, we're your children today.
Right.
And I want you to be paying attention to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I want you to be looking around
Me.
and not paying attention. And
Just
and
like you would
Megan-
normally be doing,
Yeah,
Jack.
and you pay
Drifting.
attention to me.
Okay.
In that
So
ADD drift.
What
I'm in
some
it
people
now.
might do is go, Jack, pay attention, pay attention. Well, that's not going to work because he's going to keep doing that.
Yeah.
But if I don't even pay attention to Jack and I go, Megan, I love the way you're looking at me and listening. Look at that. Jack just looked at me. Do you know why? Because he wants what you just got.
Yeah.
Which
can't
is
have it.
telling you you're okay.
You're ugly and you wear funny clothes. You're no sister of mine.
And what would I do with that? I would ignore it. I'm not kidding you. I'm not
I
kidding you.
cannot be ignored.
There's some real detailed information that I teach therapists how to teach parents how to do this. I teach educators how to do this, and I teach parents how to do this. You can really make your children behave in an effective way, being completely positive. Trust me. And so it's just a great method.
I love that. I think that's great. Is there ever a flip that saying, okay, now you're being too positive, you're not
There's
getting
not
on to
that.
them for being bad?
There's not that, but let me tell you, at the end of the program that I teach, there are behaviors that we call, I can't think of the name right now, but the behaviors that are really out of bounds.
Yeah.
And you will, at that level, do something. You have to do some things differently,
Yeah.
but that's if you're destroying property, starting fires, punching people. That's a little bit different.
Okay, like way down
Yes.
here, not sitting
Yes.
quietly and listening.
Or behaviors that are resistant to change, then you can do some mild reprimands, and I can show you how to do that. But that's really, you're probably not going to get to that point if you're doing the other stuff.
And spanking is another whole show.
It is another whole show, and we'll have that show. I think we should have that show.
I think we need to have that show.
We'll do that, but just not today.
Yeah, not today. That takes a long time.
Positive today.
That's right.
These are really good points. I'm going to go home and I'm going to make sure I point out.
Can I say one more thing?
Yes, of course.
You have to practice this. That's the biggest thing.
Okay.
When your kids are being good, practice what you want them to do when they're being bad and give them a reward. So in the heat of the moment, they'll remember. But if you haven't practiced this in advance, they won't know what to do.
So what do you mean? Like
you say, we're just going to practice what happens when you're naughty. If you do this, you'll get this.
This is going to happen.
And we'll say, well, just do it for practice. If you do it right now, I'll give you this piece of gum or something.
Conning them into
you know what? I'm getting good behavior and building good citizens.
Especially if you know you're about to go someplace important.
Yes.
Like if you have to bring them with you to work or do something, you know, that's smart.
And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
Martha, you really, you earned your PhD today.
I really like today's. That was excellent. NorthMainCounseling.com is where you can find her. Look her up too on Facebook. She's great about answering stuff on Facebook. So thank you, Dr. Martha.
Thank you, Martha. The Koi Pond tour is coming.
Yes.
You know, those are those high-priced fancy fish
that are beautiful to look at. Yes.
Well, we'll talk about them and see some pictures in a minute.